Yeah, I'm Paul Edwards, and I've been involved in a dispute for coming over 30 years over disputed drug testing results.
I do apologise.
Okay.
My webcam.
Yes, I'm Joe Eastwood. I'm a retired medicines regulatory affairs specialist. I've worked in management roles for Abbott Laboratories, Wyeth International, now part of Pfizer, and most recently Allergan and AbbVie.
Fantastic. Thank you both.
Obligation to withdraw the result of Paul's 1997 test and, for the sake of justice and scientific integrity, put things right. But they don't seem to be interested in doing that for whatever reason. And Luke Murphy, his MP, we contacted him, and he's the third MP to ask them to do the right thing and reinstate Paul and probably compensate him. And they just will not do it. I mean, they cite ridiculous rules that it's too old and they don't have to do it. But rules are not law, they're not legislation. You can waive unjust rules and do the right thing. It's just that nobody seems to have any will to do the right thing in this situation, and our only recourse is to try to make as many people realise how bad this is and hope to get some movement that way.
And you might find yourself pointing out the obvious here, Joe, but why was Paul in this case a cause you wanted to get behind then?
Well, I didn't really. I was just recruited by the club to look at it, and I was absolutely amazed and shocked that what I thought was really prestigious, excellent scientific organisation, who I trusted implicitly, having known the man who started drug testing for UK athletics, Arnold Beckett, the man I deeply respected, to find they were doing this sort of stuff now shocked me. And I thought, we just cannot let this stand. It just is obvious injustice and the scientific nonsense. And it sort of flew against everything I'd ever believed in working for pharmaceutical companies. I'm not a top scientist myself. I'm a regulatory affairs specialist. So I would look at all of the data and see if it was worth submitting to the MHRA, for example. And I found this was a piece of nonsense which should never have been put before a disciplinary committee, never been used as an evidence against Paul. Certainly not to ban him for life on spurious evidence.
And Paul, then you've also spoken a lot about justice. What for you would justice actually look like at this stage then?
Well, fairness, just I don't really know. It's gone on so long. I've tried to get on with my life as normal. Basically, since this happened, I got married, got 2 children, got 3 grandchildren. But it's just frustration. Well, some fairness, definitely, to be reinstated and do some sort of competition. I don't know really, because it's gone on so long. I don't really know what to do. I mean, one of the comments I have to make for what Joe says is that the people that involved is because they were the same people in the London Olympics. A lot of the stuff was covered up because they didn't want it to come out then, when at that period of time, I had quite a lot of publicity behind the scenes. Yeah, fairness, justice, that's always been the case. I mean, it's a total miscarriage of justice at the end of the day. And we have found through yourself and other media people that they've tried to say, oh, we can't do anything. First of all, they said no comment, and then they said we tried to say, oh, we can't reopen cases, but your media colleagues have actually listed other cases where there have been drops. So that's just an excuse, really. There's no valid reason why this case can't be resolved.
And on a kind of wider scale, what do you hope will be the impact of your sort of campaign efforts then?
Well, I've had responses since this has started to get back in the media, people saying how disgraceful the way I've been treated from ex-Olympians. I've had, in the last week, I've had 200 or 300 people, just to try and understand that, and also they have changed the system. So the system wouldn't take place to me now because it's not done by UK Sport or UK Athletics. It's actually done by independent agencies worldwide now. So it wouldn't happen today, but that's another story.
Yeah, can I get in here? One of the worst things about the situation is that all of Paul's colleagues and even I thought he was a drugs cheat, and so that has actually ruined his reputation. And until they put it right, there will still be people out there who believe he was guilty of this offence. And I think it's an absolute travesty that they won't do the right thing. It's akin to criminals being innocent and not being pardoned when the evidence shows that they were innocent. And the evidence in this case shows that Paul was never guilty of the offence and should never have been banned.
I mean, quite to support me, and not me personally. I've had two House of Commons debates about my case by two MPs, and well, it's turned out that the answers were given to them were untruths. They weren't true. What's going on? And that calibration data was mentioned in Andrew Hunter's debate in 2002, and again by Maria Miller in 2007. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I wasn't able to get any media there, so you know, it didn't get into the bigger public world or public press at the time because I was getting older and I wasn't a current athlete.
Excellent. Thank you both so much. Is there anything else you feel is particularly important to add at all?
Just one other interesting little fact. Jack Buckner, who was head of UK Athletics, he wrote to Luke Murphy, Paul's MP, saying that it was a high hurdle that had to be surmounted for Paul to have the case reopened. Well, this so-called high hurdle would be to prove that the substance that was looked for had not been taken by Paul or had not been there. But in fact, the material that they're testing is natural to all of us. I have it, you have it, everyone has it. And their test failed to prove that the amounts of this stuff in Paul, which is testosterone, were abnormal. Therefore, there was no test, there is no case to answer, there is no hurdle to surmount. It's just a weird sort of untruth to try and get out of doing anything about it, frankly.
Can I say something as well, please?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So there was another case that one of the media press guys from Daily Mail gave me that he said that another case you might be interested. And there was another athlete called Mark Hilton in the same period of time, had similar mistakes, errors, whatever you want to call it. He was reinstated, but they ignored me. And Joe would verify that's completely wrong. So they're almost picking and choosing who they want to resolve issues and ones they want to ignore.
Brilliant. Thank you both. If you're happy, I've got more than enough there to work with and think you both spoke really well. So happy to stop recording if you are.
That's fine. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.